This tutorial will show how to use EquatIO for your math lessons and even some math assignments. We're just going to go over the basic tools for this video, but right now I am in equatio.texthelp.com, and this is the main EquatIO dashboard. This is where we can create the math spaces where you are able to create those math lessons using digital tools, as well as some assignments that you can share with your students. So I'm going to start with a brand new math space just to go over some of the main features. And you're going to see once EquatIO is logged in, first thing you're going to see on the left-hand side is a section where you can actually add multiple pages. So much like some slideshow presentation programs, you can add multiple pages, multiple slides for your math lessons or even your math assignments if you choose to. So I'm just going to click the arrow just to hide those pages and just work with this blank white space that we have available here. So the first tool that we are going to focus on is the very first one on the toolbar at the bottom called the equation editor. And this is where all of the math basically happens, the majority of your math. So this is where you can type in some text for questions using the text box feature, or you can just enter in some basic equations and even access some symbols that are pretty difficult to use on word processing programs. So I'm just going to start very, very simple with like a 2 plus 2 equation. I'm just going to type from scratch and type in equals. So the very first symbol that I'm just going to show, I'm going to do 2 squared. So instead of typing in the 2 and finding the superscript like you would in word processing programs, I'm just going to start typing in the word squared, and you're going to see typing in just SQU, we have access to squared, square root, and other squared things like squared meters and squared kilometers. But I am doing 2 squared as 2 squared is equal to 4, which is the same as 2 plus 2. And after typing it in my equation editor, I can click on Insert Math, and that simple equation is added to this math space for the students to see or for me to use in my lesson. Okay, I'm just going to click the trash button to kind of access some more things. And then what you're going to notice is the 3 dots over here that says more. This is where we can actually access a lot of different symbols. So this first one for general is just basic text features that we have seen normally. But we can also click over to the pi symbol where we'll see some symbols. So there's a division, multiplication, greater than or equal to, etc., and some other symbols that we would like to use normally in word processing documents, but are kind of tricky to include in there. We also have a layout feature where you can have some simple layouts like addition, vertical addition, and even some matrices at the bottom. Just simply clicking on one of these gives you access to some blanks that you can fill in with your numbers and answer the questions that you need. So I'm going to clear that up. And lastly, the last tool here is for formulas. So if we click on formulas, we can see we have access to various mathematical and scientific formulas. If you want, you can scroll down a few here, or you can even simply type in the search for, let's say, area. And we're going to start seeing area put on the list here. So here's area of a circle, area of a parallelogram. We can also access these formulas by simply typing in the math space. So if I start typing in area, there's area of a squared, a equals S2, area of a circle, pi r squared, and so on and so on. So again, we can just access these by clicking on them and then changing the variables. Maybe we have a rectangle with an area of, let's say, base of 3 and then a height of 2, and we can solve for that there as well. Insert math, and again, it's added in our math space for us. All right, the next feature, main feature on this toolbar, I am going to jump over to the hexagon where I'm going to find some shapes. So clicking on that, we have some basic shapes available to us, but if I click on the 3 dots for more shapes, here we could find a variety of different tools that are available to us, tools and manipulatives. So I see now here some tanagrams, some pattern blocks, 3D shapes, 10 frames, base 10 blocks, etc., etc. So if there's any of these tools that you would like to use, let's say we want to use a 10 frame, we can just simply click and drag, and those tools are available for us to use. So I'm just going to click outside, because the neat thing here too is that I can actually access these circles, these colored circles, and actually start inserting them in my 10 frame. So if I have a question or I'm just doing like a simple adding question, like let's go back to our 2 plus 2 example. There's our 2 red plus 2 blue. How many do we have altogether? We have 4. Okay, so that is one other way that students can share their thinking by using the manipulatives that are available in the program. Next one over is smart shapes. And here's where we're going to find some even more interesting tools available to us. So we have number lines, we have a grid, protractor, coordinate planes, etc. So a few other tools that are very helpful for us to use. And again, same thing. I'm going to click on number line for my example, and I'm going to draw it at the bottom here. And what's neat about this, every single tool and item that you add to this Mathspace, you're going to notice, and even with this one, this properties box kind of appears. So if I work on this number line, I can scroll down and I can see that we can manipulate this number line a lot easier. So number segments right now, it's 1. If I click the up arrow, it now divides it into 2 segments, 3 segments, all evenly cut. And then we can have those numbered labels there if we want, or turn them off. And if we have them on, we can start it at any number we wish, and we can even increase it by any factor we want as well. So if we want to step by 1.5 starting at 1, then 2.5, 4, 5.5, and 7. So those property tools are all different for every tool, but they are there for every tool. Okay, so how about we actually share something with our students? So I'm going to jump back to my dashboard, and I have a lesson already created for fractions. So I'm going to click on that for a second. And this is a multi-page lesson assignment that we can use with our students. And we're going to see that we have order the following items on the number line, and I have a couple of fraction bars and fraction circles and some basic fractions that I made with my equation editor. And then I also have a working on it on page 2. So let's say I want to share this with my students as an assignment. So I can click the share button, which is at the top right corner of my screen. And we can see this screen pop up where it's asking select sharing type. So right now it says make a copy for every person. So what this does is it just gives the person that you're sharing this with just a copy. So a copy that they can manipulate, they can work on, but you don't see what they're doing. They're just getting their own personal copy. If you're sharing this with students, I suggest clicking the down arrow, make a copy for each student, and expect a response. This creates an EquatIO assignment that you can then access and provide feedback for students. So I'm going to click on that and click continue. And then you're going to see this link. This is a shareable link that you can post on Google Classroom or any chat or other program software that you're using with your students. I'm going to click the Google Classroom option just because it links directly to that, and I can actually create an assignment from here. So I'm going to click on class sessions, and I'm going to create an assignment and go. And I'm just going to call this EquatIO example. So once I actually type in the instructions, this link will appear for my students, and then I can click assign and my students will see it in classwork. What I'm going to do for this example in this video is actually click the Mathspace, and you're going to see what it looks like on the student end. So I am now accessing the assignment as a student. So you're going to see the lesson is exactly the same, the tools are here exactly the same, and the students can access them just like we did before. Once they have completed the assignment, they can actually click the submit button. So I'm just going to move a couple of items here just for the sake of my example. There we go, just like that. And then I'm going to click submit. And then we're prompted that the work has been shared with our teacher. And then if I go back to my EquatIO dashboard, I can access all of the assignments that I posted in assignments. There's the one that I just posted, and we can see I have one submission. Click on that assignment, and there is my submission that I have that I can access, provide feedback for my student, and then even send that feedback back to them to work on. And even in here, is we have this little panel on the side where we can provide a score, provide some feedback, and then send that to the student right away that they can work on. And that is the basics of using EquatIO Mathspace for lessons and assignments.